What's going on, guys? Clone Force 23 coming at you with another deck tech for Jump to Lightspeed. Today we've got Captain Phasma ECL. Got my boy here, Alec, who threw this one together and had some gameplay. How you doing, Alec?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Talking some red-green villainy. Um, looks like with Phasma, we obviously have a leader who's got a very obvious synergy involved with first order units. We also got General Hux that does a little bit of action with that too, a little bit of drawing, and I think also raid one for units as well.
Yep, raid one for first order.
Okay,
Pretty
so
crazy card.
yeah, it is actually kind of so jamming all your first order options, which all of them actually are not terrible. I mean,
They're not bad. Especially that Kylo's tie, we get to play as a first order.
yeah,
Um, even like the ones that aren't included in here aren't bad. The Kijimi patrollers and then the other ship that gets raid one if you have a token, like those are not bad options. You could definitely build something around this. I am not our red green villain player. I got to the point where I was like, okay, this seems like 44 good red green villain cards. I have 6 slots. What should I throw in? And a dark saber seems good.
yeah, the Dark Sabers actually seem really good.
Yeah,
But but yeah, I mean, you've got the obvious or green villainy ramps. You get your super rich text and resupplies, which feel great for Phasma. That comes out on 6
five.
or 5. Yeah, or even better, comes out on 5, which you just got to hit one of those options and you're off to the races. Um, yeah, and I mean just the idea of slapping a dark saber on that Phasma, or we've got all the great ECL targets in here, which are Captain Phasma, Rook, and Kylo, which Kylo
Yeah,
can be just insane. It's the leader killer, and
yeah,
you get
for
to le-
sure.
you get to lean into it a little bit more because it's got the first order on it. So I really like that being able to come out and shine. Um, Seeing the Von Reg tie in there, that seems pretty good. A 3/4 for 3, which with some boost potential. Um, Looks like you can probably have overwhelm if you've got Hux out there. Um,
Yeah, I feel like they always red green villain always just ran a 3/4 in space to get rid of the 3/3s in space. It was um what was the
Punishing one.
guy's ship? Yeah, punishing one. It was just like a
Yeah,
3/4 in space that obviously had upside with Bosk, but like the other villain decks ran it just to have a 3/4 in space. So now you have one that has synergy with your leader. So sweet.
yeah. I mean that's your turn 2 ECL target for any space aggro for sure. Um, and you get to do a little bit of pinging, I believe, with Phasma after that. So yeah, I think this is probably where I would keep it in terms of like which first order synergies we have. Um, I know when you guys were testing it, Max had a crazy play with the officer.
Stays in forever.
I don't know. That would probably be the one thing I'd look at first, but I gotta respect that. I gotta respect that play. Um, Sideboard options look solid. If you're playing green and have any level of force units, you play Palp's Return for sure. Um, the Palpatine always feels good for the cleanup, upgrade removal. You've got your Fang Fighters. Um, Putting another Rook in there is great because that might be your. If you're ramping turn 2, then Rook ECL might be your option to take out their turn 2 play if it was, if it's your Tex of the world for DJ. Um, Feels really good to, take out that unit, Take out that unit and then put the shield on Rook so it's ready to take out another unit. So without some type of spell removal, that's looking upwards of like 3 cards it's taken care of.
Yeah, I feel like Rook is like so underutilized. Like that card is still crazy. Like they throw out a 6/6 Lieutenant Childs and you're like,
Exactly.
sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, it was coming back into my red green villainy playlists because I mean, no, most notably for me, it was for Han because it was a lot of those 5 butt units that you can't always get over so easily. So Rook, if you got that ramp once, Rook could really start disrupting that.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, and then you've got the timelies in there, which always feels good for any level of like ramp because later into the game you might be still responding to stuff in the aggro. Or you've just got you ramped hard and you have extra resources so you can smuggle out that timely to drop your Kylo on them, which could be great. And then Vader, we've got plenty of good targets. I mean, it's always nice
yeah,
having the one drop first order unit or one drop unit with Vader because you've got you drop that unit and then a 2 drop. One of my favorites is always um, the one drop and Kylo's tie, and you've put on you go wide, you almost have to go wide as a mid range, which feels great.
yeah, for sure.
Um, I'm curious about the bombardments. I would probably, if I was going down that path, I'd probably put in more than one. Um, because it does feel like it makes sense in like a control matchup. Like you need to
Yeah,
close out the game. Your Raiders are putting in that work for sure. Um, even in that sense, like you flip your Phasma and put the Dark Saber on it. Like that's a lot of control players don't have the means to take care of that,
right.
or easily at least. So a lot of good options
Yeah,
here.
she definitely feels like more mid-range oriented than like super ramp green red villain.
No, like you
She
could,
probably that definitely like with her ability, she's definitely more of an aggro leader, I think, versus like I want to play a devastator.
yeah, no, you're leaning a little bit more into your 4, 5, 6 is where you start to shine a bit, and then you've got things like Vader, whatnot to close out after that. Um, but yeah, I mean a lot of turn 2, turn 3 ECL targets that can really flip aggro on its head.
Yeah, even the Captain Phasma unit, like another 5 for 5
Mm-hmm.
in Green Villain is really good.
Oh yeah,
Especially like you can do some crazy stuff with the Phasma unit, like open your next turn, swing with her, buff someone, and then OB off someone. So you're getting like super value off your barrage because
yeah,
someone got buffed by 2 attack. Like could be pretty crazy to swing a game.
yeah. I mean it's a lot of hidden pumps. It kind of makes it feel like is you got the dark saber, you got Phasma, you got Kylo, which also gives a 2 pump, and OB of course. So like there's a lot of like, oh, this 5 is turned to 7 damage. This 5 is turned to 9 damage potentially if you're ECLing
Yeah.
out that Phasma to get a lot of craziness going. Um, but yeah, it's definitely like you said. It's not we're not bringing out Relentless and Devies as often, but it's keyed the right way to do some damage, and I like it. It's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, especially like Hux being the ability to draw too. Like pretty reliable draw. All you need to do is play a first order card, which like most of the deck is. So having that too, just like, oh, like I need that barrage or I need that
Mm-hmm.
resupply. Like you can just forego the 1 damage from his attack and just
Mm-hmm.
dig for those cards.
Yeah. The one thing I potentially look out for in this one um is your space heavy decks. I feel like there could be a bit of a problem in that because we've only got a couple of space units early on, and they're not like super. super some of it's impactful, some of it's not. But somebody who's really leaning into space, you might run out of options sooner. So things on the side that might help are you could go with your open fires, but one thing that comes to mind is the shoot down. The new one out of the set is
Yeah,
that 3 damage to that unit, 2 to base, which kind of leans into your little more aggressive play style. So that might be a
right.
way to kind of continue that pressure for your opponent. So I think I would probably sneak a couple of those into the side.
Yeah, the other thing, I didn't even realize this, but there is a first order pilot, which I did not know.
Oh,
Um, he's a vanilla villain. He's a one. It's just 1 for 1/2, but
oh,
that
the villainy one, yeah.
yeah, indoctrinated conscript is the name, and it is a first order. It's one cost. It's a 1 cost 1/2 first order guy on the ground, or a 1 cost 1/2 first order pilot. Like
Hmm.
that could like go somewhere if you have Von Rag's tie interceptor on there.
Yeah, because I
Throw
mean
it down.
you're coming up to the 4 and overwhelm, potentially 5 if your first turn was Hux.
Yeah,
Which thinking of Hux is like in a slower matchup, those draws can help out to build that consistency or dig what you're looking for. So, um, yeah, I'm not 100% about the pilot, but that is interesting. Um,
yeah, and I mean there's like plenty of first order. I feel so. You probably don't. You could probably just get a better pilot, like the Vader pilot,
yeah,
or just a space sentinel or something. But
yeah. I mean, the Vader pilot would probably feel pretty decent in this too. If
yeah,
that'd be something that maybe you could swap dark sabers over if you want to try to pivot to your space units a little bit more. But um, yeah, definitely worth a try in my opinion. One of those decks that they'll have to watch out how many first orders that they print.
yeah. I was just gonna say that in the future, we get a busted first order card, and then boom, all of a sudden, Phasma is way better.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, just looking at the spread here would be like, you know, if a capital ship or something ends up coming into the first order realm, that's where I'd start worrying. But
Or when Green Villain gets their Bright Hope, like
oh
a good Space Sentinel.
yeah, you know the moment we don't have to rely on Black Sun Starfighter, it's over.
Black, Black Sun Starfighter just wants to be freed from its servitude. It's
Yeah,
like, I'm not a good card. Why do I have to keep being played? There's
yeah.
no better option.
That's all you're all we got. We are. Um, which unfortunately, thinking of that card, it's probably something you have to consider in the side too. Just
Yeah,
if you gotta slow down that space aggression. Um, but yeah, one of these days we'll get something pretty good.
yeah, hopefully.
Um, but yeah, let us know what you think of this deck. If you haven't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button. Got a couple more deck tech videos your way as we're continuing to test out this new set and new meta. I'm sure we'll have a little more insight as we keep playing along. But let us know what you think. Stay tuned for more, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace out.
Peace.
Space tech, spaceports, TCG, card sports, of course, till my voice goes hoarse. Welcome, decking with the strategy, the energy, it's Clone Force 23.